This is Duke University.
My name is Parker Goyer. I was a student athlete at Duke, graduating in 2007. I was a psychology and neuroscience major, and I went on to found and direct a program called Coach for College. And I've also evaluated it through graduate work at Harvard and Oxford, and now currently at Stanford as a visiting scholar. It's interesting because when I was growing up, all I really cared about was tennis and school, and so I think that's how I came to Duke, is more or less two-dimensional. And it was when I was here that I really understood the value of civic engagement, particularly in the form of service learning. I really like this idea of learning about academics and then applying it to service work and having the two really mutually inform each other. And that's what informed me to pursue the current career that I have, is both to be a social entrepreneur but also to be an academic researcher to see, is the program I'm doing really working. Coach for College has two beneficiary groups. One is the student athletes like myself who often don't get to study abroad or do a lot of service because of their athletic training requirements. So it's trying to give them a very tangible, focused experience in international development that utilizes their skills, that can also give them these outcomes that we desire for college students. You know, greater commitment to service, cultural competency, global perspective, and a sense of career direction. Secondly, it's also designed to be a way to reduce the dropout rate for middle school students in developing countries. And it does that by focusing on sports, academics, and life skills classes that are taught by both the American athletes and local Vietnamese college students who speak both languages. Yeah, my focus was always, how do you create a very effective service program, not just for the volunteers, but also for the communities we're serving? Because I think that is one of the issues we face as American organizations, is how can we really document the impact we're having on the local community, especially in foreign countries. And so I wanted to really design something that could tangibly, reduce the dropout rate. And if that was going to occur, then that would also benefit the volunteers who were serving. Sports was something that I saw as a universal language, kind of a glue that can bring these people together that ordinarily would never interact. So these are kids that live in very remote regions of Vietnam that no formal State Department program is ever going to reach. But when you bring American athletes there, they're very excited to meet them. They want to learn sports, and so it's a way to get them together. But once they're all together, then you start teaching them these other valuable lessons. So yeah, I definitely see sports as a tool and not as the main focus of the program. I think probably sports was great for that, because you're forced to lose a lot, especially if you continue to challenge yourself at higher and higher levels, and so you get used to that. And having, at first it feels like the end of the world when you lose a tennis match, but then you kind of overcome that. And I worry that sometimes American kids don't get enough experience with failure, because there's this desire to kind of protect kids from that, and so that's why sports can be great, because by definition you can't win all of your matches. When I was a student athlete, I would often have to wear my sports clothes to classes, and then professors might assume I'd be the worst student in the class. So I loved being able to prove them wrong. And actually, I took a Tony Brown's class in my last semester senior year, but he didn't want to let me in the class at first because he thought I wouldn't do the work. And it was funny because he eventually relented, and it was through that class that I formalized my idea to go to Vietnam and do Coach for College. So I think I was debating between that and existentialism, the philosophy course. So had I not made that key decision, I probably would not have taken this path. I think one of the most valuable things about the particular fellowship I did under Tony Brown was he had part of the fellowship was 25% of your time was devoted to your own project. And it's similar to what some companies do, like I know Google and maybe 3M. And I found that really valuable because it gave you the space, and so you were affiliated with Duke, but then you had the space and the time to create something that's your own. And I wrote to various administrators, Provost Lang being one, and he was one who offered to meet with me. So I met with him in March of '07, and then he gave me and my teacher $4,000 to go to Vietnam to do a feasibility study. And we didn't know what we would find. It could be a study abroad program or Duke Engage program, and Coach for College is one of the ideas that emerged from that trip. And so I just kept updating him, and then I don't know how exactly, but he agreed to meet with me in January, and it was great because he instantly got it, and he was asking more about what the budget was. And so I think it just helped that he was such a champion for what I was trying to do. And then since then, he's written to various other provosts throughout the country trying to help me expand it. So definitely having him was a huge key factor in allowing me to develop it and expand it.
Produced by Duke University. Online at duke.edu.